Oh, it finally worked.
Oh
There
my
we go.
goodness.
There we go.
What is going on?
I don't know.
I'm
My life
here.
is. I have
Hello.
internet. Yeah, I have internet problems at my house. You never know what you're gonna get.
Hi, Lily. Hi, Mr. Cologne. Dalitso. I see lots of familiar faces here. It's lovely you've all joined in. The Priska. Sometimes it does act up because I was on, it was fine. The moment I go on again, it just stopped working. Anyway, we are here now, and it's lovely to to actually be on.
Yes, yes, we can actually see you.
And hear me. Yeah, I was here talking to myself. I'm like, I'm here. Hello.
That's terrible. But we got it all sorted out. Angela's in the house. Everybody, this is great. Looking forward to it.
That's
So
wonderful.
we were discussing and we were thinking about maybe talking about before we get into the summer scents. Which one do you want to talk about first? Like you mentioned, like talking about trends and in the fragrance world, or
Yes, so I'm very curious to see what new trends come up because, as you know, I have a feeling with what is going on at the moment, we are going to see new trends emerging
oh yeah,
fragrance-wise. So, yeah, and I think this will be essentially with the way we shop. So that will affect what kind of fragrances are being made. How, you know, how we decide what we're going to buy, because I think a lot of us are not going to be able to always go in store and sample things. So I'm curious to see what new trends are going to come out of this. And as well, I was just thinking about when it comes to summer trends, what trends are here at the moment, because I am getting this feeling like some people, we are going back to older fragrances. For example, lots of people are loving fougères, and generally those are the kind of fragrances that our generation would kind of frown upon because, like I said to you yesterday, Ben, it could be that it reminds you of your grandmother or your mom. So but now we are kind of starting to appreciate those older fragrances because now when you look at older fougere, you're like, oh, this is it. Maybe for nostalgic reasons. So I don't know where you stand with that.
no, that's a great conversation. You brought up a great topic. It's our buying habits, our shopping habits are likely to change. I think a lot of people because they're going to start maybe being more careful or maybe start buying online even more. It's like retail has been struggling, and I think this is a big topic. But I think a lot of us are going to start maybe buying online a lot more, and that creates a very interesting dynamic with the fragrance community because you need to smell it. And with blind buying, it's like how do you get the samples, and how is marketing going to change? Because before you might walk into a mall, just smell the fragrance, and just buy it because you like the opening or the impression of what you get. And in the future, I think there's going to be less physical stores in general, and because of what the Rona, that's a nickname I guess we all throw it out. What's happening right now? I think less people are maybe going to be willing to actually physically shop as they maybe were in the past, and I think that's going to be fascinating. And there's a lot of big topics regarding that. And also, all these perfumers have had so much time on their hands. There are going to be some great releases come out. There's going to be some new fragrances. I'm excited to see. Maybe we're going to have some top sellers, some huge releases come out because they've had all this time to be creative, to sit back, to work. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. And also, things do change. We've had almost like a disconnect period, like you said. Like a lot of us have been able to sit back and maybe reconnect with some of our older fragrances or appreciate some of the older fragrances in the past. And now we have there's going to be something new, and maybe because we got disconnected with the here and now, it's going to make us more excited for the complete opposite, all the new that's coming.
Absolutely, I agree. And you know what, Ben, as you were talking, you raised a good point about the shift with people buying more online.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think even before this happened, there was a trend that's been seen on the market with
Oh, yeah.
retail, especially, where people have been shopping more online. And this is, I think, I don't know about where you live, but in my local, we've had a lot of shops close, for example, because
Hmm.
more and more people are shopping online and people are just not going to the stores as much. And I think with what's happened, it's literally just fast forwarded everything. So I think more and more people are going to have to be shopping online. But as you say, the challenge with shopping online for fragrances, because you don't want to buy every day, you want to smell it. And I don't know about you, I'm not really very willing all the time to spend so much money buying samples to sample everything, because even from a line where I would love to buy 10 samples, it could be that I only like the one fragrance from the house.
Oh,
I
yes.
Do you know what I mean? So it will be interesting to see what is gonna happen. Yes, Glenn, I'm just saying, you know, with when it comes to gift sets, sample sets, I find that even though I can sample a set that's got 10 or 12, I may like just the one that I decide I'm going to buy. And if that's the case, I am not very willing to spend so much money on sample sets, because to be honest, as it is, I'm struggling to sample all the samples I have. So if that's the case, I don't see myself going out to buy another 10 samples because I want 10 fragrances and then buy all these packs that are going to come with 10, 20 samples. I don't know. It will be interesting to see what happens. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen in this respect. So it's something to look forward to. But I think that there has to be new trends that emerge from this, because I'm sure perfumers are listening. They are looking at what ways can they still make sales and make great fragrances and people still buy them. So it will be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and it's funny that great minds think alike, because I feel the same way. I've spent hundreds of dollars on samples, and I'm very picky. I usually don't have loyalty to one brand. One of the few brands I really like is like Nichane and Amouage, and I still don't love everything from them. I'm not gonna buy it the whole entire line. Oh, Nichane, yes, love Nichane. Ani, the
I love,
darling.
I love that, darling. Ah, what a beauty. What a beauty. Yes. So,
Yeah.
like I said, because I have lots of sample sets, and to be honest, it's very, very rare. I actually can't think of, it's not many houses that I love everything and I
Hmm.
want to buy everything. So, and I think Ben, I'm sure you agree with this. You as a reviewer, you have so many fragrances to sample, even just to sample all of them. It's quite tedious, isn't it? So I want to afford myself the chance of only having to smell maybe things I'm more interested in, rather than just go into the whole house and smell absolutely everything, you know. So it will be interesting to see.
Hmm.
Really.
I the only two ways that come to mind that they can do this is those like tests. And I don't know how much people like those, but the few companies who have done those, I do like them, where you can, take a questionnaire of like 10 questions, and then it'll recommend a couple fragrances. But I mean, I've never really bought anything from the suggestions, but it's nice to see what they think. Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they make decent recommendations. But one of the things I do like, and I see some companies do, is almost like a sunk, or almost like a. It's not the same as a buyback, but like you buy a discovery set, and let's say it's $20. Once you actually decide to buy one of those fragrances, you essentially get like $20 back. So you essentially, it's kind of like, I guess, a included cost, I guess is the way to
I
put it,
know.
into the
Yeah,
fragrance.
yes, Ben, I know Sarah Baker Fragrances and
Yeah,
I know Gallivant Stories, they do that. So if you get a discovery set, you decide to buy a bottle, the amount you've spent on it is taken out off from the bottle you buy. So that's a great way. But then it's not every house offering that. And when
yeah,
you think about the fact that some fragrance houses, their discovery sets are in excess of, say, £80 or
oh
£100,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's not a cheap cost to just,
yeah.
so yes.
Like I've,
The
I've, I feel you. Like I've wanted to explore the House of Zoologists, and I want to smell them all, and I have. I have no place near me, and I have no idea where I could even find them unless I went to some big city. And buying the whole discovery set of zoologists is over $100, US dollars, and I don't want to fork out that much. I know that I would probably find 2 or 3 that I like, but just to find those fragrances, just to experience them, that's a kind of a big cost.
It is. I totally agree. I totally agree. Hi there, scented snowdrops. John, hi there. Imagine mistakes. What I was going to say, Ben, about the fragrance houses that offer a quiz online to kind of help you decide on a fragrance that you want. Whilst that may work sometimes, it does not always work. Obviously, it can't be accurate. But what I'll tell you is, I've sampled fragrances before which have almost similar notes, and you expect that because that fragrance which I know, which has these notes, smells like this, or someone may assume it's got vanilla in this, you love vanilla, you're gonna love it, and you try it, and it is completely different from what you would normally go for or what you expect. You know what I mean? And this has happened to me before, where I've put a fragrance side by side which have similar notes, and they're completely 2 different fragrances. So it will be very, very interesting to see what happens. I'm curious. I can't wait.
I'm very curious to see that too. I think that's one of the big reasons us as fragrance reviewers exist, is to help people make more informed decisions. And in the future, there's going to be more and more of these, I don't know what the right word is, like I don't like the word influencer, but like info YouTubers and social media people who help educate and share what they know and what they feel and what they experience. And
I think, sorry, I was just going to add to that. I think the good way reviewers can help in this is where you do comparison with fragrances, for example, that you know it smells a bit similar to this, so you can always recommend for people to have an idea. So that could work, but I still think moving forward, influencers or perfume reviewers, if you would, are going to have a big role to play in this. How we move forward, I believe we are going to have a big role in this to influence the market, so to speak. So it will be very interesting, but I want us to move into an area that gives us more, what shall I say, relevance? I don't know if that works, you know. Whereas we're gonna have to become like your personal encyclopedia, so to speak.
you're a fragrance consultant, I guess. I don't know, something like that.
Yes,
Another interest. I know you can go. I'm sorry.
No, carry on.
Oh, I was going to say another interesting thing that I've seen. There's very few websites who have done it, but I think Lucky Scent has done it to some degree, and FragranceNet, is that you can see the fragrance, and if you scroll through some of the pictures, at the end they'll actually have a video review. Like there's some big reviewers like Daver from Fragrance Bros and Emmy Ever After and a few others, and they'll have really short, just tell you the notes and how that basically feels, some of the main accords in a minute or two, and trying to help people understand the fragrance. And I do think that's a good idea. I don't know if that's the perfect answer, the big fix, but it helps, and it would be interesting to see if more companies are willing to maybe hire on some of these fragrance reviewers to do work like that. And some people, there's always naysayers with things like that, but it's an opportunity, and it's providing a service. So I think that might be a good opportunity.
That sounds awesome. I would love to see that. With that said, I'm not really familiar with those sites. I'm aware of them, but I never buy anything from them. So yeah.
What discount site do you have where you live? Is it Notino, or is it Fragrance X, or do you buy discounted? Do you care for that?
Man, I don't want to give all the secrets away. Come on.
Oh no, okay. Got to keep some secrets. No, I respect that. That's a smart thing to do.
Yes, but at the end of the day, you have to realize when it comes to fragrances, and this happens in our household all the time, a fragrance that I love, he won't love it. He'll be like, it's okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, it's, so it will be interesting to see, but I think trends are going to change without a doubt. So anyway, what is on your summer list? What is on your summer list moving
Okay,
along?
we're gonna jump to the summer scent. Real quick before we do, I just wanted to say hello to everybody. I'm sorry if I'm not trying to talk over you. I'm sorry. Okay. Hey Lily. Hey Unda Priska. She says, imagine an app which takes a sample of your skin, bacteries, and suggests a scent. So she's suggesting something that, like, maybe you put in your preferences with smells and a few fragrances like you love. Like, it asks you, like, what are your 3 favorite fragrances? And then we get to the point where we have technology where the scent is either tailor-made for us or it matches us with a scent that actually works with our skin chemistry. And that would be crazy.
John, I can see your comment. Stop it. I'm being a lady. Anyway, Ben, I think the question with that lies in, will companies be willing to invest? Because I imagine coming up with that technology or to make something like that will be quite costly. I can see that happening, but it will be, this is why I said it will be very interesting to see how much companies are willing to invest to achieve that in the future. So
yeah, it will be fun. It'll be fun to see.
Absolutely. When it then I'm just backtracking now a little bit on what we spoke about earlier. When it comes to fragrances, vintage fragrances, if you will, to now, where do you stand? How do you feel about vintage fragrances or all these new trends that we are seeing? Because I don't know about you, but I've noticed that more people are appreciating the older fragrances now than they did before. And personally, I've had to revisit some of those fragrances I wore in my teens. I don't know if that's happened to you.
Yeah, no, I completely support vintage, more, I guess, quote unquote vintage fragrances or classic fragrances. I recently did a video about this and on my YouTube channel, and for me personally, I have a little bit of a different experience because I didn't get into fragrances until I was in my 20s or early 20s, and I wasn't around people who smelled like fragrances or wore fragrances or had that fragrance culture. So I do understand people having memories of maybe their grandfather wearing Dior Fahrenheit or their father maybe wearing Drakkar Noir or something like that. But even if you have those fragrant memories, which are powerful and they're important, I still don't think we should ever limit ourselves. If, like, a younger man, finds a scent like that and he falls in loves with it, I don't think it's good, like with lingo or jargon or slang or anything. It's interesting to have, like, something for every generation. It's something that defines, kind of like who you were or a time. But a lot of things to me are kind of timeless. So, if it works for you, like I like Eau Sauvage and I like Platinum Egoist and Anateus, and I would feel comfortable wearing those. But I know a lot of younger guys, and I've seen some on YouTube, and they think that some fragrances are even 3 years old or outdated. So I know there's a lot of different opinions. Like, they were saying Dolce & Gabbana the One, and a lot of other fragrances like that were outdated already. And I'm just like, I don't think so, but
it's quite interesting because I think when people are talking about this fragrance is outdated, it's probably because, like, I'll tell you for myself, for example, when I think of, say, 1 million, or maybe a fragrance that I wore, maybe not even too long ago, like 15 years ago. And now I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's so dated. And I was asking myself this question. Could it be because of the time that's passed, or because of how much more fragrances I've acquired in that time. You know what I mean? Where I think, oh, that's an older bottle back, you know, it's right at the back. I don't even take it out. Maybe when I'm looking for something, I get in the box, I'm like, oh, I have this. Oh, it's been a long time I smell it. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
good. It's quite interesting. I'll tell you personally as well. I've found myself loving, I love vintage fragrances, and
Hmm.
I'm hoping to add a bit more. And as well, I think it's because I've been reading a lot of perfume history, and I've come to appreciate these even much more. And now I'm wishing I did not throw away those bottles, because before, every time a bottle finished, I threw them away. And
Oh,
now I'm like, imagine what I could do to have the vintage Shalma fragrance, you know, the fragrance bottle, just to have that bottle. I think it would excite me. And just to have, you know, like the vintage bottles which I've thrown away, because I know, oh, this is a bottle from 20, 30 years ago. And now looking back, I'm like, I wish I never did that. So
hmm. Yeah, that some people collect them. Yeah, that some people, they're highly collectible. Yeah.
they are, because I realized and over the years, I'll tell you this, I've thrown away quite a few Chanel bottles. And then I saw this person on eBay was selling them. And he was selling, and when I looked at the price, I'm like, imagine all that money I put in the bin.
Yeah, sometimes we do that, make decisions like that. And you're like, what was I thinking? What was I,
Exactly.
what was I doing?
Exactly,
Uh,
exactly. I'm just reading Lily's message. Yes, those Baccarat Shaima bottles. I wish I had one, you know, and even like, and I know I've thrown so many bottles over the years. And I was just saying this to someone. I used to wear this fragrance. I posted it the other day. I posted it actually yesterday, I think it was. This Tommy Hilfiger.
oh,
So this is Tommy
for
Girl. But before this bottle, they used to have a different bottle, similar shape, but it was done differently. And I wish I had that bottle. I wore probably 10 bottles of this fragrance, and I had thrown them away. And now looking back, I thought, because I saw a picture of it online, and I was like, imagine if I could get that bottle, but I've thrown them away. So anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that'd be something fascinating to show other people as well. You know, you could show it to people, and you know, not everybody has something like that. It's
I
uh,
know, I know. I just, moving on, I'm not throwing
and
away these lovely bottles, because
yeah,
now I understand how valuable they are. Even the Chanel bottle, for example, if you've got a bottle that's from 30 or 40 years ago, because every time, every so often, they change them a little bit. And I was just looking at how the cap of the bottle is changed over the years. And I thought to myself, why did I used to throw them away? I wish I kept them. So,
yeah, I feel you.
yeah.
I kind of like the point Scented Snowdrops made. I'm trying to
Yeah.
catch up with comments too. They said sometimes that's good in a strange way because we get to try something outside our comfort zone. Talking about vintage fragrances, and I
Yeah.
feel the same way. And maybe it's because of how I was raised, but again, with me not being around a lot of these fragrances, finding all these vintage or classic inspired fragrances is like stepping into a new world, and I think it's a lot of fun. It's something different and unusual, and I think a lot of people who maybe, especially if they're younger, and all they know is what's trendy in the here and now. Maybe they weren't raised around family, or maybe they didn't encounter those you know fragrances of the past, and maybe they might find one that they love. I think that I think there's always something good out there to be found, whether it be new or old or, you know.
Wow, I know. But for me, I think it's this, like the other time I was walking down the street, and then this man went past me, and he was wearing Brut, and
Oh,
immediately,
brute.
yeah, just made me think of dad.
Oh, yeah.
I could smell that's dad. Every morning he would shave. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah.
these smells, and it's quite fascinating how smelling something can take you to a place instantly. you know, and
Yeah.
I get that a lot when I smell these vintage fragrances. And sometimes I've realized myself that I buy them because of that memory. I want to keep them because I want to go back to that time.
Hmm.
So I saw a question from Winter Michelle's, and she was asking if we keep fragrances in boxes. I do because I don't have enough room on the shelf, and normally the fragrances that I have out here are the ones that are either I use them the most or I take pictures of the most. Because some fragrances I take pictures of more than I actually wear them because they make lovely pictures.
Yeah. I store my fragrances in boxes too. I know some people don't like boxes, especially with higher end fragrances with a beautiful presentation. I personally believe that you're supposed to keep them, and there's a lot of effort and sometimes cost that goes into with niche fragrances with the presentation. Also, I'm a little bit of fussy, I guess, a stickler with protecting my fragrances. I want them to last or smell as good as they always did for forever. So that just keeps them and protects them a little bit better. So I'm funny. A lot of people think I'm weird, and it's almost like opening a present. Every time you wear a fragrance, it's like a ceremony almost. Like you're like, I'm gonna open it, and then I know where you go, put you back in the box. But I guess that's a little bit me being like obsessed with organization. Like you said, you can stack them.
No, but you know what, Ben, to be honest, even when you see this one, it's sitting here, or these ones up here, chances are they only came out because I was either talking about them or taking pictures. Otherwise, everything literally sits in their boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is in the box, and I have box as well where I just put them back in their boxes so that they just remain as they are. Because I've got small children as well. And the
Oh
last
yeah.
thing I want, Ben, is someone to come here and they think, oh, I'm just having fun, and smash it on the grass. And I would not want that to happen. So, and my office, normally the lights are off, blinds are on, unless I'm in here.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone
Yeah.
knows not to be playing here. So yes, the box is an excellent layer of protection. I saw a very good the classic guy says all fragrances aren't outdated, they are just overworn or because another new fragrance has. Exactly, absolutely, absolutely. So, and this is a good example. You can think about Savage, you can think about Creed, you can think about 1 million, because some people now are like, I don't want to wear 1 million. And what puts a lot of people off, and this is again like Coco Mademoiselle, it's because it's so popular, and this is because it's so good. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
wants it. Therefore, you walk down your street, chances are you're gonna meet so many people wearing it, and you even know, you smell it, you're like, oh, Savage, very nice. You smell it, you know, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
you want to stand out a little bit. You want to smell a little bit original, and that's one reason I love niche fragrances so much. You can find something that few people really know about, and you get a little bit of exclusivity, and you get to smell a little bit unique. And I mean, it feels a little bit fun, when somebody's like, "I've never smelled anything like that before." I always find that's really fun.
yes, absolutely. I'm just reading some of the comments as well. I've just
Hmm.
seen Honda say her daughter broke some fragrances before. Oh my God. I'll probably cry. It's happened to me. I think for me, it happens a lot, especially with lipsticks. I have my youngest who can't stay away. She always likes to touch things. Look at Dior Home, the original. I'm reading comments just to catch up. Now it's come back with a
Yeah, you're
thing
fine.
taking away. Exactly. Exactly. And now suddenly everyone is talking about Dior Home. I've seen a lot of lists on YouTube when everyone is been talking about their top 10 for life. And that's appeared in a lot of lists. Like a lot of people would choose Dior Home to be one of their top 10 for life. So that's quite interesting that it's come back, because I think after the releases of all these fragrances, it kind of took a back seat, but now people are still appreciating it, which is quite good. Someone is asking, what is the best fragrance for men and women? Wow, that is so general. The classic guy. Ben, would you even say what is the best? I will tell you this. The best really is so personal. What could be best for me may not be for you, because even like I said, fragrances, it's always better sample for yourself, but I could point out that these are the more popular ones which a lot of people like. So what
Yeah.
now is
I feel the same way. I don't like that question with really anything. Sometimes there are things of great quality, and sometimes things are really long lasting or smell great or generally very respected. But again, to me, fragrance is so personal. And like with my motto, wear what you love, it's all about finding a scent that works for you and your skin and kind of represents your personality or how you're feeling, or maybe has a really special fragrance memory for you. And to me, that's what the scent is all about. It's not wearing Dior Sauvage or Roja Elysium or Creed Aventus or whatever the fragrance is considered the best of the day. I generally don't try to create hype, and I don't really generally try to support hype and things like that. So I definitely feel you there. But like you said, Coco Mademoiselle, and there's a number of great fragrances for ladies. I've been a great supporter of Mugler's Angel Muse for ladies. It's kind of a chocolatey, earthy patchouli one. And there's a number of great scents. You could, if you just want the best of the best, you could watch a couple top 10 lists and probably find one that you like.
Yes. Yeah, there's quite a few. So you could think about Coco Mademoiselle. La Vie est Belle is a good one as well from
Oh
Lang.
yes.
Lots of people love that one. It's loved by which all ages love La Vie est Belle. And there's a lot of funkers in the line as well, which can work for everyone. If you don't like too much gourmands, you've got floral selection in there. And the Dior line as well, Miss Dior is quite lovely. They've got
Oh
quite a few
yes.
funkers as
I love the
well.
blooming bouquet.
Yeah, so you've got Parfum, there's Blooming Bouquet, there's Cherie. So there's a few choices there again. And with men, oh, Ben can sort you out there. You've got all these Savage,
Yeah.
Perfection. There's so much, so much. Um, I saw a question from someone asking, how does Rila smell like? It smells like, imagine I'll tell you how it smells like. It's very vanilla, cinnamon. It's caramel. It's a gorgeous fragrance for man, definitely. And yes, it's got some creamy elements to it, like lemon, creamy lemon. And for me, it reminded me of the biscuits I used to eat as a child, which I took to school. And they were lemon biscuits, but they were like lemon cream biscuits, which I quite loved. So for me, this was a treat. So yes, Fahrenheit and I'm not a big fan of Fahrenheit. I know a lot of people that wore it, and I remember my uncle used to wear it, and I remember Sundays after church, everyone would gather at grandma's house. I can still smell it on him. So I was never fond of that one, and Gary, very classic. So, what fragrance notes do women like on a man? Oh, what do we like on a man? Some vetiver, some patchouli. We love that sort of thing. Something a bit, maybe some moss or orris. Orris, I love orris root on the fragrance, and cardamom. Yes, I love cardamom.
Oh, yeah.
Sandalwood, cedarwood. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Yeah. What? I like fresh and spicy. Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's fresh, spicy. Oh, spicy, yes, please. Right. So can we carry on? If you have any questions, yes, feel free to ask away. Bergamot. Bergamot is lovely. It's used mainly as a top note. So you will find bergamot in a lot of fragrances. It's a very good top note. You find it in a lot of fragrance openings. I do love bergamot, and I do love when you think of that neroli. Yes, yes. Of course, I love blood orange. I love mandarins. So, yes. And as well, I was gonna add this. You know, when you think that you love this note, it also matters how it's used in a fragrance. Because your thoughts on Leighton or Leighton, I'm not very familiar with Leighton, so I wouldn't tell you. Maybe Ben can tell you. Someone is asking your thoughts on Leighton or Leighton exclusive.
Okay. Yeah, no, I thanks for sharing that. I'm trying to catch up with the comments too.
Yeah,
There's so many. Thanks for everybody for being so involved.
yeah.
Um, I think Leighton is great. It's a little bit more, in my opinion, at least if you're deep into niche fragrances, it's maybe might not be as interesting as you want, but it's more of a gourmand or a semi-gourmand. And maybe has a little bit of spiciness off the top. Then it becomes a little bit rich and smooth. It's kind of hard to pick out the notes out of it. But for me, my problem with a lot of niche has always been deciding if I think the value is there. And I think Parfums de Marly is a good house, but I don't know. I'd rather, for the price, I'd probably want to get a good sale. I probably would make sure I got a good price on it.
You
I
said that.
I know. And I prefer the Leighton exclusive personally. It has a little bit more coffee to it. It adds a little touch of an animalic, just a little bit, and it makes it a little bit more of a real, in my opinion, a niche fragrance that's a little bit more interesting, and it's a little bit more bold. So, but a lot of guys, if you're a younger guy or maybe you want to be a little bit more appealing to ladies, the regular Leighton might be better for you. But for me personally, I'd go with Leighton exclusive. That's probably one of my favorites, and Hobdon from Parfums de Marly. So.
I'm not,
That's
I'm
my
not, I'm not familiar with Leighton, and yeah, because I've seen it in a lot of lists for men, but the
Oh
thing
yes,
where I
one of the
live,
most.
it's not easy to sample them. I always have to go like to the big city, like to London, because I live outside of London. And
Mhm.
every time I go, I'm so busy. I'm ever so busy. I can't have enough time to sample everything. And even though I've sampled it in store, I can't really say much about it. I've just sampled it literally on the street, and that's it. But I'm curious, how does it can you compare it at all with that, or maybe with the Interlude Man, Leighton? You have,
With Reflection Man or Interlude,
yes. Can
I,
you
I
compare?
I don't think they're similar at all. No, no. Reflection Man is a little bit more of like a lavender, uh, like a
Okay.
soft, clean, almost approaching like soapy kind of territory. Very classy, very charming, and I don't know how much vanilla is in it, but I get like a vanilla kind of overtone. And Interlude Man is a very heavy, smoky, incensey fragrance. It's very bold. Um, I
You
don't know
can't
if it,
take it out now. You have to wait until it's very cold so that when you're going outside, it's like, then you spray it and it will literally hit you in the face.
oh yes, Interlude Man to me is definitely a winter fragrance only.
The monster.
I it's probably been reformulated a time or two, but especially vintage bottles, it was nicknamed the Blue Beast for a reason. It's one of the most potent fragrances I've ever encountered and ever seen. And if you don't like smoke, if you don't like that smell of a campfire smoke on you, don't go anywhere near Interlude Interlude Man. So
It's a beast. You know what? When you speak about Interlude Man, I'll just tell you, Russian Adam, his line of Arage Ledo, the War and Peace. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They are beasts as well. And yes, they are like on the same level. Like these fragrances, you wear it, you literally have to wash it off because it's just not gonna go away. That and this is just with the one spray. The one
yeah,
spray, two spray. I'm
it's a
even scared to wear them.
yeah, it's like a commitment in a bottle. When you spray that, you better be ready to smell like that for at least a day or maybe two. So
Can I just tell you, Ben? I
yeah.
had a bunch of samples someone sent to me, and I can't remember which one this is, but my husband wore this sample. He sprayed, and this is the one spray. And he took the t-shirt off the next day, and it's still there. Like for 2 days, it was as if you just sprayed, and he sat there. He was like, this is annoying. I really want to take it off because I'm like,
It was like, and it was just as strong the second day. That's crazy when that happens. Like,
just go and wash it off, change the t-shirt. It was like, I've done that, but I can still smell it. Imagine that. I was like, I don't want to wear it because.
have you ever sprayed like a Montal on a jacket or something?
Oh
Like gone out and you come back like a week later, you can still smell it.
It's like, I want you to go away. Just leave me alone. I'm just there, like it's not going away. But speaking of Interlude Man, you spray it in this room, come back 3-4 days, it's still in the air. Like you can still smell it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But if you are after those kind of fragrances, honestly, you're getting what they are saying you are getting. No kidding. Like it's better money if you love that sort. And I said to the Queen of Niche, I don't think we're gonna finish that bottle because it's still almost full because everywhere is like one spray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So one spray is enough. You don't need anything else around your neck, nothing, Yes, Lily, you have to try them.
Have you tried Black Afghano by Nasamato?
I've tried it. I have tried it. Oh my gosh.
It's like that too.
I was
crazy.
lucky. I was lucky that I didn't spray it on skin. I sampled it in store and it was on a strip and I put it in my bag. A week later also I went back and I said to him, I was like, smell this. He's going, what is it? I was like, it's those fragrances I was spraying when I was out last week. And it smelled as if you just sprayed it now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And which other one would I think of? I don't know. I didn't spray it on skin, but I don't know those who have wood for greatness. Because when I sprayed that fragrance in store, I was just like, wow, that is so much. I was like, I don't even want to try that on skin because I was out. I was like, I'll spray it maybe on a paper, that's it, because it just smelled so potent. So, be interesting.
Yeah. We should probably talk about the summer fragrances, though. We're talking about heavy, strong, smoky stuff.
We got off topic a little bit. It's beast mode.
No, it's fine. It's good.
Yeah. Anyway, summer fragrances. Ben, what are men wearing these days for summer?
Okay, yeah, I'll grab into some of mine. It's awesome. Everybody's talking so much. I did want to answer a question here, real quick. And I really like this question. And I've tried to address it a couple of times. It's the classic guy asked, is Creed Aventus really that sexy compared to others? And Creed has changed their fragrance a lot. When it first came out, it was a smoky fragrance with oak moss in the dry down. And it was honestly more of a real niche feeling fragrance. And it was more of a masculine fragrance that guys liked. It's still kind of that way, but they changed it a lot. But honestly, if you're just trying to be attractive to ladies, there's a lot of other fragrances like, Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Lucky and, Azara Wanted and a lot of these scents that might probably get you a lot better results. You don't have to, if that's your goal and if that's your intention, there's a lot of great designer fragrances. You don't have to spend that kind of money to smell great. So I don't like this mythos. I don't like this pedestal that Aventus is on, even though it's a great scent and it's very popular for a reason. It's good. But I have a review coming out for Aventus 2020, and it's not going to be so nice. They keep changing the formulation, they keep playing around with it, and I don't know. I always respected it, but I'm just not I'm not happy about it.
Just to add on to that, Ben, I think with Aventus, what they've done is because the name was already very popular, everyone wanted a piece of Aventus. They've gone on to just make more to use the name, because then it's not been the same thing, and it's not. And a lot of people agree with this, and this is why people are always looking for a certain batch, because later, subsequent batches are not as good as the air ones, and you'll be lucky if you get the original one or something, because now it's not the same. And like you say, I can think of so many fragrances that would be so much better for me, that would do the same thing for less. So
Yeah, it's like you could pay $60 or less, and if you just want to be attractive, I mean, you can be smelling great for $60 or less. You don't have to pay 150 if you get a vintage cheap, or $300 to, be attractive to a lady. It's no, but
Chanel Blair, that will do the job.
yeah, no, I get you. Somebody said that their lady likes Halloween Man. Funny enough, I actually have Halloween Man X on the way. I'd been wanting it for so long, and I finally decided to get it. We'll have to see if it's as charming as they say.
Yeah, and well, I'm just looking at the comments, and yes, to people saying about getting Mont Blanc or stuff like that. There's so many clones of Aventus, it's crazy. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
It's just crazy. And I've heard of people say this clone is better than the original. Is there such a thing? I don't know, but people claim so. And it is possible that someone could take a fragrance that's existing on the market, add a few things, or maybe take away a few things, and it can be a better fragrance. So some people have done that, and I can't even think of a fragrance on the market that's been copied as much, because they
Yeah,
are literally everywhere. And
yeah, it's probably the most copied, duplicated. I mean, Parfums Vintage. I might be mistaken, but I think they used to be named Pineapple Vintage. And the whole reason the company started their first fragrance, was a vintage dupe. And that's
yeah,
the reason that's the reason why they got so big and so popular. It's because of that. And so many clone houses do that too. So
yeah, and I feel like there's a market for this, because if someone is gonna come out with a fragrance that's so much, and then someone else tells you this is as good for this much, I mean, do the math. I mean, I'm not promoting clone houses or anything, but I feel there's a market for this, because not everybody can afford to spend so much. Because for some people, especially if you are not really into fragrances, people that are not really into fragrances that much, they just want to smell nice. They
yeah,
don't
exactly.
care if a fragrance is they don't care what name is on the bottle. It could be, I don't know, Savage. It could be Aventus. It could be Primark. It could be, I don't know, Next. It could be a Zara fragrance. And I've heard people say about Zara fragrances that some of them are really that good. Some popular ones are Rich Warm or something like that. So cheapies are better than niche. Some cheap, definitely. I know for a fact I have bottles that I paid so much more for, which are not as good as the ones I paid so less for. And a good example as well, you can think of Encre Noir, Lalique's Encre Noir. It's a good fragrance, and for what you get, it's really worth the money. And then you find other fragrances won't even do the same thing for so much more. And the same for Bentley Intense for Men. It's a great fragrance. It's so cheap. So like even plain soap and water smells nice to some people. Absolutely. Plain water.
Yeah, and you made a great point, and I wanted to add to it that sometimes us as fragrance enthusiasts, it's important that we don't lose perspective. If we're, trying to help a friend, a cousin, a family member, or somebody find a fragrance, or sometimes in our fragrance reviews, we love notes. Sometimes we love the artistry, or maybe even the perfumers behind it. But sometimes we got to try to figure out where somebody's at and maybe what their needs are. Because I know I've been guilty of it, because I can get nerdy about, I'm into a lot of different things, but you want to tell them everything, or maybe you don't try to get to the ground level, and not everybody wants all these details like we do. But it's fun that we can be here and that we can be passionate about it this way. But if somebody just wants an Aventus clone, just tell them tell them the options. If somebody on the street.
I totally agree. And this is the reason why, Ben, if you look on my channel, whilst I may love some, high-end fragrances, I still come on and talk about cheaper fragrances, because I know for a fact not everyone watching is going to afford to even I know that not everyone watching would love to spend so much on a fragrance, because for some people to think that you can spend 200, 300 pounds on a fragrance, it's like, are you crazy? Why would you do that? And you know, so for this reason, I always come on every now and so often. I do a video on, oh, I'm gonna talk about cheap fragrances that are good for the money, so that people at least they're given a choice, because you don't want everyone just talking about these perfumes the money, and not everybody can afford it. So it's always nice to talk about Zara or CK, or you know, things that most people can relate to. And I think, Ben, you and I have one thing in common, where we are always talking about fragrances that are not so very popular, like not common fragrances. People haven't heard of it. You are always doing that, introducing new houses. I'm always, and
We're doing that, yeah.
That's a topic for another day. Moving along, summer fragrances.
Yeah. Let's talk about those. We've had a great discussion. Let's talk about a few of them. One of the first ones I wanted to mention was this is called Oliva from Marimetta. Like you were talking about, brands that people don't know about. This is a guy, and this is his first fragrance release. And this is just lemon, leather, and vanilla, but this is like the longest lasting lemon I've ever smelled. And it has this unique, almost like oily lemon quality about it. And I really like it. Might be a little bit too sweet for 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but I really like it, and it's pretty long lasting. So that's one of the summer fragrances. Honestly, I tend to like more of the resinous, heavier fragrances, the deeper scents. Right now, I have like only like 6 or 7 fragrances I would consider summer scents in my collection that I have right here. So
I'll share one with you, what's in my summer collection. And Ben, like you, I'm here talking about not very popular fragrances that everyone knows, but this is the whole point, to bring something new to the market. So this is La Maison Hedonique, and this 1793. So this was made in collaboration with the Lady Cavernel, Downton Abbey, if you know about that. And this is a lovely summer fragrance. It's very dewy. It's got a dewy rose, and it's very green. It's it reminds me, every time I wear this, it reminds me of being at the sea. It's got that seaweed, you know, like you can smell it, fresh green seaweed, you know, and that's what this is. And it's very, very long lasting, and it's very unique. Can't wait to try that. I think you would love it. And it's just a gorgeous fragrance done by a small indie house, upcoming, and I really hope they grow so big and people get to try their fragrances. So a very green fragrance. Imagine you cutting the lawn. Think about that. And that greenness you get, that's how green it is. But lovely, fresh at the same time. Ben, this has been amazing. I was looking at the comments prior to this one, and people are saying you two should do more lives together. So I have to go back to this session.
Yeah, that definitely will. And I'm happy to do lives and chat with, you know, people on Saturdays, or maybe I can do them more regularly. We'll see. But there's the fragrance world is amazing. You know, sometimes there's, you know, bad eggs or bad apples, but it's pretty good overall. It's good.
Thank you, Lily. Lily just said she has to go. Thank you so much for being with us. We took so much of your day already. So thank you so much. Have a lovely day. We'll catch up soon.
Yeah.
So
I'm not Ray Lewis says his fragrance of the day is Lalique White. I think he wants to get be appreciated. He's talking about, it was like glorious pencil shavings earlier, I think. It has that dry down, so yeah.
Lalique White. Oh, it's a beautiful fragrance actually. I used to have a bottle, but I don't anymore. And I was thinking I'll grab it, because I remember even my daughter used to love it.
Yeah. I know I'm being really random. I'm that kind of person. But can y'all hear that knocking noise in the background sometimes?
I can hear a bird song.
There's a giant red-headed woodpecker pecking our fence. I don't know if it's coming up on the screen. I can't see it, how small it is.
Wow. I can't
It's right there. It's a big one. Red-headed woodpecker. Anyways, let's get back to fragrance. I'm sorry.
That's fine, Ben. Nature never hates nobody, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Bad eggs, eagles, you guys are so thank you, Dee. Right. Moving along.
Yeah.
Oh, what have you
So,
got there?
did you have another summer fragrance, or did you want me to share one? Or
Please do share yours, Ben. My
okay,
husband was just telling me off a moment ago that I was talking too much.
no worries. This is a lot of fun. So, one of my fragrances that definitely is, and at least in my world, considered a summer fragrance. Again, I tend to like coffees and tobaccos and heavier, richer, sometimes gourmand scents. So it's hard for me to find fragrances that I guess are categorized or would be put in that category. But this is Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Swimming in Lipari. This is one of the flankers, maybe one of the least appreciated flankers of them all. And it's very salty. And in the dried down, there's a lot of that artificial ambergris quality to it. And I really like the stuff. I heard somebody tell me that they thought it was metallic. It doesn't smell overtly or like metallic to me at all. To me, it's pretty long lasting and smells like the ocean breeze. So if I, this is a perfect fragrance for high temps, and it always works really well on me. It might remind somebody of Versace Pour Homme, perhaps a little bit, but I this is one of my favorites, and I have Versace Pour Homme as well, but really underappreciated if you like salt, at least in my world, and it's not overtly priced either. I'm pretty sure it's discontinued. Dolce Gabbana puts out a flanker like every year.
I know. They do have them. Actually, I noticed they tend to have sort of summer and winter flankers as well. Like they'll have two or so releases in the year. I was just going to say, adding on to that, I love that line of fragrances, the Dolce and Gabbana. I think it's one of their best lines. I think so. I think it's their best seller. I've got a female version of that one. I've got the light blue, the light blue, the original one, not
Hmm.
but I've got that one, which I quite love. And that, again, it's a very lovely citrus fragrance. You think of yourself as on holiday in the Med, and imagine all these citrus fruits growing, and this is what you get. You go to Greece, they've got all these plants, trees of these fruits, and that's what I smell. And it's it's got a bit of that ocean vibe to it. So think you're in the Med selling maybe on a yacht. I'm daydreaming now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's perfect. Dolce Gabbana Light Blue or any just about any of their fragrances are so easygoing and so easy to wear. If you just want to be kind of carefree and you don't want to have like a complex fragrance that's like intrusive, or you're going to have to worry about maybe offending somebody or something. It's just so easy to wear. And sometimes people do recommend the fragrance here and there in the fragrance community, but I don't know if light blue gets that much attention, like top 10 list or anything like that anymore. So
it was
really
in
good.
my top 10, Ben. I did put light blue in
Oh
my
yeah, yeah.
top
I mean you,
10.
but
Yeah, I
I,
did. Yeah,
I
I
just talk
think
about like as a whole, like everybody, in general, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a lovely fragrance, and I think what it is now, and this goes back to what we were talking about before, where people think this is outdated because there's been so many new releases, and I think at the moment that's what's happened to light blue, where people are thinking this is older and they've had so many new fragrances since its release. I think that's what's happened, but for me, it still remains a very good fragrance, and like I said video you saw, it's a very iconic fragrance for our time. And this is a
Mhm.
fragrance we had an example, especially for how important it is for our century in fragrance. So it's quite something very easy to become. Yes,
Yeah. Let me catch up with the comments. I'm
I'm
trying to
trying
see.
to as well as we go along. So thank you everyone, the Centurion, and I can't wait to try your fragrances. And we've got Miss uh oh my god, I'm gonna say that wrong. I won't try. Devilish Sense. Thank you everyone. Hi John, hi everybody. Honda, predicted. Good afternoon. The perfumer. I saw someone Uh, Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I think we've carried on longer than we had
Intended, yeah, I thought.
intended. So, yes, fragrance chats, oh my goodness me. What's more interesting than talking about fragrances on a Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, this is fun, and this is one of the great opportunities for all of us to connect and become friends. Devilish Scents, Darren, he's a fragrance reviewer. He's a friend. I talk to him pretty regularly. And Syrian Cherion over there, Scott's a pretty cool guy. And there's people popping up in here. This is just always, it's a beautiful thing.
Everyone
Bragdictic too.
I was
Honda.
gonna say, everyone who's here watching who I'm not following, after this I'll go round and I'll follow everyone and say hello. And yeah, I think the Centurion is that hang on, is that Peter? Centurion, is it Peter?
I think his name's Scott, but
I don't know. I thought
I think that's Fragrance Review. There's so many names. It's hard to keep up, but Peter's a cool guy. Yeah.
I think I do follow him on YouTube. Scott. Hi, Scott. Sorry. I don't know why I thought of that. I don't know why. Anyway, yes, I do follow you on YouTube. So bring me with you, damn you.
We're gonna have to get him on sometime. Devilish Sense wants some airtime, so.
Yes, let's do this. We should actually have a live where we can have just as many reviewers. We can all talk. Maybe we can do this on YouTube. That would be fun because Instagram won't allow us to have more people on. So we can do it on YouTube where we can have multiple people at the same time. So
yeah,
we arrange that. No problem. Why not? We are all here to support one another. I'm up for it. So yeah.
Yeah. Whoever knows how to use StreamYard and wants to help put it together. My computer's webcam is terrible, and my computer's funny, so I don't know if I want my computer responsible for everybody. But I'd be happy to join if somebody wants to help with that. So
I would be happy to do that, Ben. I'll be more than happy to do the StreamYard. I was trying it the other day. I've tried it, and it works, and it's just so much easier. But with all that said, I wish YouTube had a built-in system where we could just get on and add whoever we want on the chat. That would make it easy, but I think it's not as easy for them to have to do that. So I'll get there, Scott. I've been more active. Boom. All right, lovely to have you on. So moving along.
Yes, let's talk about another summer fragrance.
Yes, please. You go, Ben. You go.
Oh, you want me to? Okay, I'll share another one. One of mine is Caligna or Kalinga. I don't know what's the correct way to say it, but it's by Les Artisans Parfumeurs. It's a beautiful fig. It's kind of almost a slightly green fig. It's to me pretty creamy. It has like a beautiful white oak kind of smell in the dry down. But one of the biggest players with this fragrance, and I never thought I would like this kind of note because I usually like more macho scents. But it's Frangipani. It's a beautiful, almost like tropical floral type of scent. And as a guy, I do think it smells pretty, kind of pretty. It's kind of unisex. And I joke and say, if I want to smell pretty, I wear Caligna. It's if you like fig and if you like really nice florals and it smells kind of creamy and woody in the dry down. I love Les Artisans as a company. A lot of their fragrances might lean feminine, in my opinion, but I really like the house. Sorry, I just noticed that.
Ben, could you please pin a comment on here that we are talking about summer fragrances? Because someone was just asking, I just saw, but I've replied. But anyway, could you pin it on here? The Devilish Scents was asking if that was your scent of the day. And just pin it so that they know what we are talking about. So, yeah.
I actually haven't put any of these on yet. I was trying not to do that so I wouldn't, like, when you want to talk about a fragrance, you don't want to influence with your nose with all these scents on you. But I haven't put any of them on yet. So, but Yeah.
I'm not wearing a fragrance just yet as well. I came out of the shower and I was like, I'll see what I like as I go on spraying. I may end up spraying everything. Who knows?
Yeah, that's like going to like Essence or like like a meetup with a bunch of sits like and you're going there to smell a bunch of fragrances, but yet you put a fragrance on. It's to me it's a little bit counterintuitive. It's like you're going there to experience all these other things and you don't want your nose to be influenced, you know? So that's
No,
odd.
you know what? With that said, for me, I normally when I'm leaving the house, and I think this is a ritual that I have for myself. If I'm just going even outside, probably to take kids to ride bicycles outside, I'll put on the fragrance. I know I'm a bit extra, but I love to wear so that when I get there, it's always before you smell something, you're like, oh, what are you wearing? That's nice, you know. And yeah,
No, that's the fun of it. If you have all these fragrances, like a lot of us have so many, like 100 fragrances, it's like
yeah.
why not wear something fun when you go to the grocery store or something? It's like have some fun with it, you know? It's like I support you
I'll
100%.
tell you, I'll tell you something funny, Ben. And this is, locally we have a local store, like a corner shop. So we have a local
Yeah.
Tesco. Normally, when I've been filming content on YouTube, so I'll have makeup done and stuff. So every time I go in the shop, the lady at the counter, she's always telling me, "Oh wow, yeah." The other day she said to me, she goes, "Wow, your makeup is so beautifully done, as if you are going clubbing." And I was like, "I wish." And she was like, "Yeah, I know, right? Because everything is shut." I was like, "I know," but I never tell her anything. But I find it funny. I always tell my husband because she's always like, "Oh my gosh, you smell nice! Like you're going out and look at your makeup." And anyway, carry on.
No, no, that's awesome. So, do you have another summer set you want to share, or do you want me to? I don't have too many, but we probably should run through them kind of quick.
Yeah. Well, I could share one. I'm gonna share this one. This is our Gabbana Perfumes City of Jasmine. I don't know if
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you've smelled this. Oh my gosh,
No.
I love this fragrance. And again, this is a fragrance people said it reminded them of Aventus. And like nobody can talk about a fragrance that's got pineapple in it without
That,
people mentioning Aventus, which quite annoys me at sometimes. But it's not Aventus. It is a lovely, lovely pineapple summer fragrance. Imagine yourself being at the beach, and there's this fit guy who's making cocktails, and he's got all these fruits. Imagine him with a tray of fresh fruits. He's got some pineapples, some lemons, he's got some oranges, and all freshly cut. And this is what you get. It's a lovely, beautiful fragrance. Such a summer fragrance. I love it. And as well, this fragrance, the performance is quite something. It performs, it projects, and I'm so mad because I only have this 10 ml container, and now I think I don't have too much left, which is kind of brought me to the point where I'm spraying it sparingly because I don't want it to end. And as well, if you have seen the fragrances in the collection, they've got 5 of them, which I have all of them, and they make a beautiful painting the complete bottle. So maybe one day I will buy them because I love all of them. And within that same collection, there is another one, which is the Scent of Paradise. And this Scent of Paradise, oh my gosh. Again, this is very citrusy. It's very, very citrus. Like Richie, you spray it, it's the bergamot, like green, fresh. It's a lovely fragrance. And I was thinking to myself, they made these fragrances, summer fragrances in their collection, which are not very similar, but almost in the same vein. You know what I mean? Like they are both summer scents, and I don't know, but they are lovely fragrances, by the way, like just stunning stuff. I can't stop smelling my wrists now.
that, that house looks really exciting.
The rest of the day like this. Oh, this is so nice. But then this is much sweeter and has some creamy element. It's got like some vanilla to it. It's got a bit of vanilla and some sandalwood. Whereas this is more fresh, dry. So go. I'm looking at the comments as well, just trying to catch up. Imagine.
We're joking, joking around.
There is the question here. I'm not Ray Lewis. He's asking, what do you think of the House of Imaginary Authors? Personally, I've had no experience with imaginary authors, so I'll let Ben jump in on that one.
I've only tried a handful, two or three, but I don't want to discredit the brand. There's a number of brands like that where I don't want to buy the whole range just like you. I've already spent hundreds on samples. I don't want to spend a lot more. So I'll generally like cherry pick the ones that look the most interesting to me. And sometimes I'll watch reviews or reviewers and maybe go to Fragrantica and look at some other people's opinions. I might come back to some of these brands, but if I buy samples, like three samples, and sometimes pay as much as like $20 or more for three samples, and I mean, if I'm not in love with any of the fragrances, I might not come back. So that's the way I am with imaginary authors. I need to try Whispered Mists, and there's one like Memoirs of a Trespasser, but I tried Every Storm a Serenade and a few others, and I don't know. They didn't have magic for me, but we'll see. I'll try some of the other ones, but yeah, Devilish Sense is saying they're overhyped.
I was just reading her comment or his comment. I was just reading his
Yeah.
comment and saying how they are overhyped. I couldn't tell you because, like I said, I have no experience with them. So, yeah. Ben, if ever there was a fragrance I have which you would like to sample, we should just sample swap. That way saves you and myself money instead of blind buying, because I think I don't want to blind buy, and especially expensive fragrances. I do not want to blind buy a fragrance that's over £100,
Yeah.
because I think there's so many other brands I could help, a smaller brand, maybe indie brands, which are doing amazing things, which brings me to the next fragrance, if I may, Ben. I'll give you a
Of course,
chance.
of course.
Yes, so this is Atlant. And this is again from another indie house, and this is Sarah Baker. And this fragrance again, this may be a theme of today. Let's go on holiday. We are off to Greece. So
You have so many nice things. I more of mine are more like affordable summer fragrances. I haven't found a lot of niche or high end summer scents that I'm crazy for yet. So I'm over here. I'm a little bit jealous.
No, do you know, actually, Ben, now that you say that, it reminded me as I was looking at these fragrances, I realized most of my summer fragrances are very much designer scents.
Oh,
They're
okay.
very much designer scents. And really, this is the list of what I could think of summer scents. And if you see, I don't even have many full bottles of summer scents.
Hmm. I'm the
This,
same way. Yeah.
anyway, you carry on.
Oh,
Sorry, I could hear someone was at the door. So just checking that children are not budging in. But we are fine. Let's carry on. Please introduce your next one, Ben.
oh, okay. This is one that's more affordable. This is Bulgari Aqua. This is the original, and it's a salty fragrance. It's a little bit deeper on the greens and like the seaweed. And for me, it works, and it has for a summer fragrance. It still works in the high heat. It still has a little bit more of a full body to it. I know there's some guys out there, and they probably would suggest getting Atlantique for the younger guys. But again, this is the original, and a lot of the times, I mean, some of the flankers are winners, but a lot of the times, there's flankers because the original was so good. And this is one of the cases where I would say go with the original, at least in my opinion. So this has started the whole Bulgari Aqua line, and I think it's still great. I think it's the best of the bunch. So salty, aquatic, a little bit deep, a little bit green, and Bulgari fragrances always smell really classy to me. So
I do love Bulgari fragrances, and
Mhm.
Jasmine Noir is one of my favorites from the
Oh
line.
yes, yes,
I
oh
love
yes.
Jasmine Noir. That is a good one, Ben. I don't have that one, but a lovely fragrance. I've smelled it so many times. I
Hmm.
think it's one of the sections always at duty free. I stop by and I'm always trying their fragrances. Very nice. Carry on. I was trying to catch up if I could see any comments. So, oh, Maya, you have, thank you, the devilish scents. Looking up, Gary is great. So it's salty, fine, smells great. Oh, fantastic. Lovely, great. So, for those joining in, Ben, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you and see you. Everything's right. I'm just staring at the comments too. I turned my screen brightness a little down, so I'm maybe squinting
Uh,
because I don't want it to overheat
I,
out here in the sun. So
I was not too sure. I love Bulgari, the dark ones, but great. They are really great. Hi, everyone. Everyone joining in. So, we are talking about summer fragrances. So, yes, John, I do love Bulgari fragrances as well. And you know what? I feel bad saying that because at the moment I don't have a full bottle of any of them. I think since the last one finished, I've never gone back to purchase another one. But they have great fragrances, definitely. And yes, carry on, Ben. You were going to talk about another one, were you?
okay, yeah, yeah. I'll talk. This might be the last one that's a true summer scent, like one that I prefer to wear in the summer. But somebody did make a great comment, and they said like summer fragrances, especially with designers and the high heat. You know, the heat is going to make fragrances leap off your skin, project, and not last very long. So you often probably will need to reapply. So, you know, getting those great designer scents for the summer is usually the best way to go. And maybe that's a justification because I think both of us like maybe more of those complex, you know, maybe spicy, oriental, gourmand, and other deeper scents. But yeah, so if you have a versatile scent, that works for the summer too. You don't have to have a dedicated citrus or a dedicated floral or anything like that, or maybe like a really light musk for the summer. But we're just trying to pull out some of our favorite, you know, summer of the summer fragrances. And this one's Rivolare from Fragranza. And this is a tea fragrance. It's like has pear sorbet, lots of mint. This is probably one of the heaviest mint fragrances I've ever smelled, and has a beautiful tea, and it has this almost vanillic overtone, almost like Elborn by Carnar Barcelona has. And I love this stuff. It's one of my favorites, and it makes to me it's exotic. It reminds me of almost like Arabic mint tea or something like that. It's to me it's gorgeous, but
It's a lovely presentation as well, Ben. And when I saw that
oh,
bottle,
reflective,
I
yeah.
thought it was the Atkinson bottle, and then I looked, I was like, oh no, it's not.
Yeah,
Love
Fragranza has all these like mirror, and they're true mirrors. They can like reflect and show your
I
face and
can
stuff.
see that.
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how expensive it is, but it is pretty nice.
It must be hard taking picture of that because it will reflect everything. I find these shine
Yeah.
bottles so hard to take pictures of because you're
Hmm.
standing there and this has happened before, you know, where you are relaxed taking pictures and then it's mirrored and then you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, you can see my boobs.
Yeah, or your face, or it just shines like it's
Right.
hard to see. It's like has a halo or something. It's like
I know. Oh, lovely stuff. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. I don't know how long have we been on here. We don't want to bore anyone, so
yeah, we probably both have things to do. Maybe if you have another to share with us, and then maybe we could wrap it up. But it's been fun. It's been awesome. And we got to do more of these. And like we talked about, like doing a StreamYard or something like that, and getting all of us together. There's I think Brooklyn Fragrance Lover, and y'all probably know who Joey Canoli is. And there is, I think the community is kind of building a little bit more, and I like that. I want to be a part of it. So.
absolutely. You know, Ben, as you were talking about the summer fragrance, it just made me think about one thing I just want to add. You know,
Hmm.
when you live in the UK where I am, and I know Tony and Scented Snowdrops are here as well. It does not get so hot here. Like it
Oh,
really,
okay.
we have the day where we have when it's 20 degrees and we're like, oh my gosh, the sun is out. We are all out in the sun, which I don't do, by the way. I try to stay in the shade because I don't need the sun, as you can see. Anyway, so in this country, it doesn't get very cold and you can get away with wearing lots of fragrances throughout the year, which I
Oh,
do with some fragrances. And with that in mind, I did, I'll just show you. I thought about these fragrances I would wear throughout the year because it's not, they would be still perfect. So I would wear Anne Nishan, that's vanilla. And as well, I thought about Fragrance Du Bois Sarah Hood. And this is a lovely rosewood saffron fragrance. And obviously, you all know this, it's not a secret.
oh,
So these are my babies. But other than that, I have these fragrances. Ben, I don't know if you have your wish list, what we were talking about. Fragrances which I'm anticipating, looking forward to add, which I hope I will. And this is one of them. So we've got Nishan's Hachivat. Hachivat? I don't know, you pronounce it how you want. I hope to add that one. It's a gorgeous fragrance, and that one actually, it's in the same vein as the City of Jasmine. City of, hang on, not City of Jasmine, Scent of Paradise. They are both very nice fragrances, but you don't need an excuse for one.
yeah. We have so many. You have to really sit back and think of what you need. I don't have a lot of fragrances that are particularly smoky, so one that I truly have on my buy list or wish list is Black Hashish. I think it's by Ajmal. It's it's not as crazy as Black Afghano, and it's maybe a little bit classier, but it's still kind of smoky. It's still a little bit crazy, and I like it.
Well, Ben, how about this one? You buy your Black Afghano or something in that vein and do different decants to add something else to them, because this is what I tried. I have a fragrance from the lady. She normally does makeup, but then she came out with a fragrance, and this is Charlotte Tilbury. And our fragrance, it's at the back, I can't get to it, but it's very much a oriental fragrance, wood, and it's quite potent, quite strong. And I was thinking to myself when I bought it, it's very nice, but I find like I want a bit more sweetness to this. And that is another fragrance you have to wash off because it just won't go away. So what I did is I made different decants, and then I added different sweet fragrances to it. And guess what? Oh my gosh. I'm actually going to share about that at some point. I just haven't had the chance, but love what you're all doing. Well done, Fragrance family. Hi, Anjam. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I was just going to say that. So it would be nice, maybe if you have a fragrance that's too strong, you know this, Ben, you can always layer it with something, find something to add to it and sweeten things up a little bit, and you never know. So, yeah. Right.
Yeah, we can wrap this up. I did want to make one comment. I saw somebody say I think it's Brag Addicted, says never tried a Bulgari. I'm just like tisk man, you got to try them. I love the Man in Black collection. Between me and my dad, I think we have all the Man in Blacks, and I don't know, as far as designers go, Bulgari is one of my favorites for the price and just how they smell. And John Varvatos, they don't last the longest, but again, sometimes you don't need a fragrance to last, 6, 8, 10 hours. A fragrance can be charming, and a lot of John Varvatos do smell really nice. So as far as designers go.
Nice, yeah, despite the performance. But yes, exactly, Ben, if we are here talking about wanting to wash off Black Afghano, that is your option. Get something that's not as potent, that you can just wear. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, and I know probably you are like me, you wear different fragrances in the day. Maybe you are sampling. You don't want to wear a fragrance that's going to last on your skin for 3 days. You don't want that because you want something new on it. So I don't mind some light fragrances. So yeah, anyway, it's been so great to catch up with everyone. And thank you so much for your comments, everyone. We appreciate it. And Ben, so awesome to have you and to have me. I think we should do this again. And I wish you all the best with your channel because you do amazing reviews and I love what you're doing. And I hope and see you grow even bigger because I think that at the moment, some of the content that you and I make, we are more like niche content, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like very mainstream. So, and I think, anyway, it's so lovely to have you both, to have you here. And thank you so much, everyone. And thank you.
We're like pioneers. That's the way I look at it. You know, there's, you know, content is up forever. What you put on the internet doesn't go away. And who knows, maybe the fragrance community will get big enough where more, you know, more interest and more popularity starts going out to, you know, more and more of these undiscovered and unknown perfumes. And yeah, I love that too. You and me, we're doing that, finding new fragrances and sharing the undiscovered, unknown stuff. And that's it. It's just a lot of fun. That's why we do it.
It is. Who wants to be in uniform with everybody else anyway? Anyway, it's been so lovely. Thank you, Ben. Have a lovely rest of the day. I'm off to enjoy a roast now. Yes. We are in
we will.
Have a roast every single day.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you. Be careful. Be well out there. And we know that you'll be smelling great. Smell good, my friends.
You too. Stay happily scented. Take care.
Bye.
Bye for now.